This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a multi-agency careers expo is being hailed as a success as hundreds of people flock to the event. Gardening apprentices from across the South Island converge on Dunedin for a hui. And about 70 people attended the opening of Dunedin International Airport's terminal expansion and new departure lounge. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. A multi-agency careers expo is being hailed as a success as hundreds of people have flocked to the event. The Ministry of Social Development coordinated the event and says many employers had a variety of roles on offer.
Plenty of Dunedin folk looking for work or just thinking about making a career change turned up at the Otago pop-up job shop at the Glenroy Auditorium on Thursday afternoon.
And we had over 100 people already here at 2 o'clock and we've had over a couple of hundred through since then, which is awesome. And we're only an hour in.
Dunedin City Councillor and Deputy Chair of Economic Development Andrew Wiley says it's a challenge for employers to look for new workers in the current uncertain environment.
Employers are struggling at times. You know, there was a lot of uncertainty around, hiring people, being able to retain them. The job subsidy had been really positive in that environment. What does it going to hold in the next 6 months? What's going to happen in the next year? To make that commitment to take someone full time and promise them a job for a year or more is quite difficult in these times.
While there were over 40 organisations pitching opportunities at the event, Labour advisor for Ministry of Social Development Mel Warhurst says a lot of jobs are actually found through meeting employers and networking.
So 70% of jobs aren't advertised. So the hidden job market is trying to get those jobs without going to Seek, without going to Trade Me, by having conversations with people.
King's High School pupil Daniel King says a lot of jobs seem to require qualifications beyond what school offers, but at least he's found work for the summer holidays.
Most of the jobs there require further qualifications, but I think the cherry picking is, what I'm looking for.
In Dunedin, The South Today.
The final results in New Zealand's general election and 2 referenda were released at 2 p.m. this afternoon. The results show the largest gap between Labour and National since the two-party system began in 1938. Bucking the nationwide trend, National's Penny Simmons is officially Invercargill's MP, just pipping Labour candidate Liz Craig by 224 votes. Neither candidate would call the race on election night, saying it was too close. While Penny Simmons is the new electorate member, Liz Craig remains a list MP in the 53rd New Zealand Government. And late this afternoon, National's Jerry Brownlee announced he'll not be standing to retain the deputy leadership of the National Party, choosing to focus on rebuilding support for the party in the Islama electorate. And when asked, Dunedin's Michael Woodhouse said the deputy leader's position isn't something he's considering at the moment. Gardening apprentices from across the South Island converged on the Dunedin Botanic Garden for a teaching exchange day. The visiting group joined local apprentices for a guided tour with Dunedin Botanic Gardens curator Dylan Norfield. A guided tour of a well-known path. Dunedin Botanic Garden Geographic and Arboretum Collections curator Dylan Norfield leads apprentices and staff from public gardens in Queenstown, Christchurch and Oamaru around his well-tended patch.
And it was just very fortuitous that Queenstown apprentices actually asked to come on the same day. So we put the invitation out to also Invercargill and Gore. So we had a group of them all here, just a chance for them all to get together and learn from each other and see what each other does.
He says yesterday's first exchange training event is a success, so they're looking at continuing the exchange program in future, switching the venue to different gardens as the participants are learning well from each other.
It's a good opportunity for them all to get together, learn different things, see how everyone does things in other areas. And horticulture is just such a huge topic.
Queenstown Lakes Garden Supervisor Pip Schelling was among the touring party, and says the mutual exchange of ideas has been beneficial to all.
It's hugely impressive here, what they've got going, how they have structured the gardens there. So going back to Queenstown, we'll kind of look at what we've got going on and how we can improve that, maybe with some special little nicks and acts that we've taken away from here.
After gaining qualifications in horticulture, Schelling was working at Mount Cook in tourism until COVID-19 decimated the industry, forcing her to return to her first love.
I had an opportunity to focus on my career again and managed to land in a superb role with the council.
Dylan Norfield says yesterday has been a great learning experience and may be the beginning of more exchanges in the future. In Dunedin, the South Today. The first of its kind climate-safe house built by the Dunedin community has failed to sell at auction. The highest bid of $100,000 at yesterday's auction of the relocatable eco-friendly home wasn't enough for the sale to go ahead. The house was craned onto a flood-affected Waitati property in November last year and then sublet to the landowner at a peppercorn rental. However, the landowner now wants it gone. The Otago Daily Times understands has been contacted by members of the Waitati community concerned about the process of dealing with the unwanted dwelling. The home was built with the help of public fundraising campaign and donations from local businesses and organisations. About 70 people attended the opening of Dunedin International Airport's terminal expansion and new departure lounge. The official opening of the second stage of the airport's expansion was supposed to be held on March 19th, but was delayed due to COVID-19. When celebrating major achievements, the basics can sometimes garner the strongest reaction, especially when it's positive customer feedback.
She said, I have been around the world twice, and I think your toilets are the best airport toilets that I've ever seen anywhere in the world.
Stakeholders, staff and Dunedin City Council representatives gathered at Dunedin Airport to celebrate the official opening of the new departure lounge. Dunedin Airport Chief Executive Richard Roberts says given the year the travel and tourism industries have had, it's important to chalk up the occasion.
It was built for 1.1 million passengers. We're probably going to be about half that this year, so that caused a few problems, but let's celebrate it, let's have some good times, you know, it's been a pretty tough year.
The new facilities were due to be opened in March this year, but were grounded along with the aviation industry due to the global spread of COVID-19. Richard Roberts says around 15 years ago, the facilities at the time weren't ready for the projected number of international passengers, which he believes will return when the world gets on top of the pandemic.
And I just don't know how the guys did this. I mean, it was literally a hole in the middle of the terminal that nobody knew was there. And we opened the doors and there it was. It was great, yeah. So it was due to passenger numbers at the time, which they'll come back.
The terminal celebrates the region and Dunedin with street art images, particularly in the toilets. Airport identity Lynn Joseph was given the task of uncovering the commemorative plaque, with Roberts saying she was the obvious choice.
Lynn is part of the fabric of this place. Everybody knows Lynn. She's everybody's best friend and mother. She's certainly been a replacement for my mother. And I think we're going to have a little debate on the choice.
The first stage of the airport's expansion was revealed in August last year, when 2 advanced body scanners were added to its security screening service. In Dunedin, the South Today. And still to come on the South Today, many people commemorate Parihaka events in Dunedin, and the Lawrence Car Club is trying to attract a younger type of car enthusiast. See you after the break.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. And check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
One of our core values is to be great, and to us that means flourishing and thriving and being at the top of your game. It's also striving for excellence. Celebration of success provides validation of hard work and recognises that best practice leads the way for all of us. Particularly in a year with so much uncertainty, it's great to be able to come together and shine a light on the successes.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
No mai anō, welcome back. A drop in prices paid for dairy products this week is being linked to a spike in COVID-19 cases and the return of lockdowns in Europe. Overall, milk prices fell by 2% and skim milk powder dropped by nearly 5%. However, butter prices recorded their third consecutive rise, up by almost 4%. Westpac economist Nathan Penny says the latest COVID-19 developments are likely to dampen global dairy demand and prices. But he says the drop is likely to be temporary, and the demand for dairy prices has already rebounded in China and the rest of Asia. Waiata, karakia and memories were shared in Dunedin yesterday to commemorate the more than 200 Māori prisoners from Parihaka who were transported to Dunedin in the 19th century. The Rongo Memorial Stone in Andersons Bay is a regular focus for people to remember and grieve. About 50 people gathered at the Rongo Stone Memorial in Andersons Bay yesterday morning. The event and the stone commemorate the 211 Māori prisoners transported to Dunedin between 1869 and 1879. Among those gathered is Tonga Karina, who travelled from Parihaka for the service, speaking on behalf of the community and expressing their thanks to Dunedin for commemorating her people. The annual service is organised by the Reverend Dr. Wayne Takawa and Flagstaff Community Church Minister Brendan McRae, who have arranged the Dunedin service since 2017. The same year, a formal apology was delivered by the Crown in relation to November the 5th, 1881, when about 1,600 Crown troops invaded Parihaka, which had become a centre for peaceful resistance to the confiscation of Māori land by European settlers. In Otipoti, Dunedin, the South Today. Tyres will be smoking at a 3-day-long car show and cruise hosted by the Lawrence Car Club later this month. Following the success of the event in past years, a burnout pad has been added to the Petrol Head-inspired run this year.
Lawrence Car Club member Darcy Wynne isn't too perturbed by his friend Dave Bridie undergoing a sustained loss of traction on the safety of this new burnout pad at the Lawrence Rodeo grounds. The concrete surface, fencing and toilet block were able to be built this year thanks to local funding.
It wasn't hard to build the burnout pad, it was more getting the funding to build it. So I just got on the phone and rang around a lot of people I know and suppliers, and we managed to raise $10,000.
Wynne was able to use his skills in engineering to help coordinate the car club's project.
I just more or less told everyone when they were to be here and what work we had to do, and we teed up the concrete trucks and probably had about 16 people here on the day that we did the pour, and it's just led from there doing the barriers, the fencing, just to keep people well away from it.
The burnout pad is now ready for this year's Rev Rock and Hop Car Festival being held at the end of November, which is set to feature 3 days of music, car exhibits, car rallies and of course burnouts.
The car show's normally a big day, it's normally just on the Saturday, so this is going to be our first year for the 3 days. And for the burnouts as well, so hopefully we're going to get a good turnout. It'll get better after this one, it'll hopefully just get bigger each year we go.
Rev Rock and Hop is set to run from Thursday the 26th through to Sunday the 29th of November. In Lawrence, the South Today.
And after the break on the South Today, a former Southern Member of Parliament announces a new career. And we have your weekend weather. See you soon.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. And check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
Success, it's not just financial success. To be a successful business or industry, you have to be involved with the community. Now we feel we've got an obligation to support all those people that support us, and part of our community. Community is really, really important. We don't want to just exist, we don't want to survive, we want to thrive. We want cargo businesses to thrive, and this is an important part of that.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh, plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر.
Welcome back. After having to resign as the local MP for Clutha Southland, Hamish Walker has joined the Harcourt's real estate agency in Queenstown. Elected in a landslide in 2017, the 35-year-old MP later admitted leaking COVID-19 patient details. Walker says working in real estate is a case of returning to his roots after having completed his papers some years ago. He previously founded an Auckland property management company, which he successfully franchised and sold. Walker says he feels absolutely blessed to live and work in an area he loves while helping people find new homes. Meanwhile, he's also thrown his hat in the ring for a seat on the Queenstown Chamber of Commerce. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A multi-agency careers expo is being hailed as a success as hundreds of people flock to the event. Gardening apprentices from across the South Island converged on Dunedin's Botanic Garden for a hui and exchange of ideas. And about 70 people attended the opening of Dunedin International Airport's new terminal expansion and departure lounge. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's big Saturday Otago Day Times. We welcome Craig Page.
Hi Daryl.
Hello.
Feels like Groundhog Day. We're still waiting for a result in the US election. I think we had that conversation last night.
Yeah, still waiting.
Yeah, we are, but we are getting closer. We can tell you that. It was an extraordinary press conference today from Donald Trump where he again claimed that the election was being stolen from him by fraudulent voting. He's got a particular bugbear about these postal votes that have come on, claiming that anything that arrived after the election day shouldn't be counted because his leads are now slipping away. So it was quite a bizarre outburst from him, really. A couple of those seats tightening up now with Joe Biden closing in on Donald Trump. So who knows, we might get something tonight and be able to tell the world tomorrow in our paper who the new president of the US is.
Indeed. Will it be the new one or the old one?
Wow, I'm backing a new one actually, but there we go. November 13 marks the 30th anniversary of the Aramoana tragedy. Of course, those who were around Dunedin in those times will remember it vividly. David Gray, shooting rampage down in Aramoana, taking the lives of 13 people. We take a look at what's changed 30 years on, really, and up until the Christchurch mosque shooting, that was the worst mass shooting in New Zealand, of course. So we look back on the day, talk to some of those people that were involved and the impact it's had on their lives subsequently. We talked to the son of Stu Guthrie. Of course, he was a local policeman who was gunned down by Gray. His name's Stu also, but he kind of talks of the impact it's had on his life, and really sad that he hasn't been able to introduce his own children to their grandfather. So we have a second part carrying on Monday as well, looking at speaking to some of those people who were right in Aramoana when it happened. So yeah, good series there and well worth a read. We've got an interesting story about a 600 section property development for Invercargill. So some big moves down there. It's at the northern end of the town, effectively a new suburb for Invercargill. So they've got big plans there. So they seem to be able to free up some land for those sorts of things down there. So it's good to see.
Nice to have that happen up here.
Yeah, it would. Hey, the weekend mix as well on a Saturday for the fiction fiends amongst us. That's hard to say. Rob Kidd and his team of book reviewers, they're looking at the contenders for this year's Booker Prize. They've all divvied them up and all read various books themselves and rate them out of 10. So if you're looking for some summer reading, it's good to have a look at and choose some books out of that. And sport, of course, the All Blacks again tomorrow against Australia, a few changes. It might be a more even contest than we expect. And closer to home, Otago playing Southland and Invercargill tonight. We'll have updates on our website throughout the night and full coverage tomorrow's ODT. As ever.
All that and more. Thanks
Darryl.
Craig. Good night. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the Southern View, inspiring signs outside Brockville School. Looking at the situation, a cold weekend lies ahead with rain for most places as a front arrives tomorrow and leaves a southerly airflow over the region on Sunday. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, you're in for rain with 14 degrees in Greymouth and Westport. To the northeast of Tawaiponamu, keep the brolly handy for showers in Nelson with 18 degrees, while there's cloudy skies and 21 for Blenheim. Heading down to Canterbury, cloudy skies and showers here with 18 degrees for Kaikoura and Christchurch. The showers continue in Ashburton, where you can expect 17 degrees. And in the southern towns, light southerlies, cloudy skies and rain later and 13 degrees for the Catlins. The southerlies continue for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore, who are all set for 12 degree highs and rain. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, light winds and rain across this region, planned for 14 degrees in Wanaka and Queenstown and Alexandra. The southerlies and rain are slightly stronger in Te Anau, where your high is due to be 11 degrees. And to the northern towns, variable winds and cloudy skies with showers up here, 16 degrees for Timaru and 15 in Oamaru. Heading inland, you're set for light winds and showers over here with 16 degrees for Omarama and Twizel. In Dunedin, fine tonight with light winds and an overnight low of 8. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but overcast with periods of rain in the afternoon and evening. A high of 14 and a low of 8. Showers clearing slowly during the day on Sunday with fresh, cold southerlies decreasing. A below average high of 10 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, fine tonight with some cloud, expect an overnight low of 8. Cloud increasing and rain developing from lunchtime tomorrow with fresh cold southwesterlies. A high of 13 and a low of 8. Showers on Sunday with fresh cold southerlies decreasing. Showers clearing later in the day. A high of 10 and a low of 6. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday and in fact for the week. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.